Hello and welcome back to Fallon Moran Radio. In today's episode, we are going to be going over just a quick update in terms of the world, in terms of life, because there's a lot going on and I got something to say about it. Let's dive in. So there's a lot going on in the world right now. I don't know if anybody else is paying attention. And there's this whole Greenland thing, and there's this whole cryptocurrency thing, and there's so much going on. There's ice, and they're in cities, and 2 people have been shot and killed. It is insanity what's going on in the world right now. You look at 2026, it is 2026, modern times with technology, there's artificial intelligence, and then you have all of these very ancient things happening. Not to say that they're ancient in terms of ancient Egyptians, but the methods, the practices, the actual actions being taken are ancient in terms of the modern world, right? People getting shot in the street by immigration officers that really aren't immigration officers. What is this? What country do we live in? Do we actually live in a superpower, or are we just flaunting ourselves around saying that we're a superpower, but we're really just not, because there's a whole lot of other stuff going on. So I want to dive into it in this episode because there was a time when I was living abroad in another country. I was an expat, and then I came back because I was I miss my family. I'm broke, and I just want to have love back in my life again, right? So I went from living in Europe to coming back home and living in the States again. I got another job, and here we are. It followed a sequence of events to get me to this point where I am today. And I see everything that's going on, and with all of the skills and all of the, practices that I've acquired in the last couple of years, becoming an NLP practitioner, and then even going deeper into becoming a master NLP practitioner, it astounds me what's happening right now in the world, because these people are parading around and they're shooting people in crowds that are peacefully protesting, and they're calling it they're claiming that it's okay. In what world is that okay? If people are part of a peaceful protest and you openly shoot someone, then really we're just one bullet away from martial law in this country. And you can say what you want. I'm sure there's probably a CIA agent listening, because it has been exposed actually that they do listen to devices, and now they're looking at podcasters and the community of podcasters. So if you're listening in, here's what you should know. There is a right and a wrong, and the line has been crossed several times if you're looking at things with a very objective perspective. And what the United States is doing currently as a United States citizen, in my opinion, is they're peacocking, okay? And it's no surprise, because you're looking at a toddler who is running the country, where the toddler is peacocking because he's got the biggest dick and he thinks that he could just swing it around. And the thing is, somebody's going to come and he's going to get served. He is going to get so beat up by the next big bully, he doesn't even know what's coming for him. I'm not saying that I'm on anybody's side, but what I am saying is the peacocking of the current bully, it will end. It will end. This is Babylon. This is the fall of Babylon. You could think I'm crazy. I don't fucking care. There's too many signs. There's too many indicators. There's too many things happening to show that this is going, the United States is not going to sustain this. There's just no possible way. We're $37 trillion in debt, and you think that this is going to continue happening? Okay, you might have 12 aircraft carriers, but you want to know what? You got zero fucking brains, okay? And I don't know who's listening, but if you're a citizen of the United States, here's what you should know. The reason why it's going to be difficult is because we have no infrastructure here. There's no bullet trains. There's no high-speed trains. There's not very good highway systems. The only real highway system that I think has any kind of quality to it currently is maybe Route 80, and that's because it goes and it spans the nation. Okay, now of course you could kind of bring up 95. 95 goes from north to south on the East Coast. You could bring up, I think it's Route 1, but Route 1 is not, the infrastructure of Route 1 is not built for, maximum cars. It's like a one-lane highway that goes up and down the West Coast. And arguably, I don't think that it's really, I don't think the infrastructure is there to really support that. If a lot of people needed to move quickly, they could. I don't think that infrastructure is there. I was on Route 1 a very long time ago. I was in high school when I was on Route 1, and it is literally on the coastline. Like, it is on the west coastline, and it's a very scenic highway. So I don't think the infrastructure is there. And that is ultimately, at the end of the day, going to be the thing that probably, more than likely, it makes things difficult for the United States, because without any infrastructure, there's no way for you to take care of the people. And that's by design. I think that's by design, because I'm not going to go open this can of worms, but let's look at what happened on 9/11, right? That's another can of worms, and I'm not going into it right now. But what I am going to say is, I just don't think that America has its people as the best interest in its mind. I think that it's very capitalist, it's very focused on the money, and I think that's apparent by who we continue to vote in office. There was a time when I was very, very little, and I've actually been considering this lately because I've been watching the Taylor Swift docuseries, and Taylor Swift always knew that she wanted to become a performer. And when I was younger, I thought to myself, hey, I kind of want to be the first female president of the United States. I'm 32 years old. It's 2026. There's a shitload of crap going on in the world, and that chair is still open. That title is still vacant. It still can be claimed. So maybe that's something to consider. However, I think we're also on a sinking ship. And do I become a captain of a sinking ship, or do I help support the people who I know need the help and the support to safety? Right? Like, which is the showmanship of a true leader? So it's not necessarily showmanship per se, but what is the choice of a true leader, right? So something to consider, especially if you're in the States. And if you're outside of the States, I'm sure you're like, holy fuck, these people have no idea what's coming. I'm gonna make a prediction. By the end of 2026, the dollar is going to be debased, be completely devalued, since we're currently in a period of QE, and they're printing money out the wazoo at the Fed. So I think that the percent of inflation for the dollar is going to reach 100. And I think the market's going to crash. And I think that they're going to start borrowing against crypto, because it's the only place that they can borrow that they haven't borrowed to the point of being bankrupt. And I think that's going to debase a lot of people, because I don't think that a lot of people have investments in crypto. And I think that it's going to really throw a lot of people for a loop. And I think this year is going to be very tumultuous, to say the least. It seems like it's going pretty okay now, but there are indicators that it is going to be rocky. So I am kind of like sitting back. I almost want to get a little thing of popcorn to watch the rest of the movie, but we have to live it. So it's going to be a very interesting movie to watch, to say the least. So if you listened this far, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to hear what your thoughts are. What do you think is going to happen in the United States this year? I really appreciate you tuning in and listening. I would love if you left a rating and review for the podcast, because that's what helps the podcast grow. This is a really quick episode because I have to go get my child who just woke up from her nap, and I don't want her to wake up her sister. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Okay, thanks. Love you. Bye.